Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the podcast. We haven't done this podcast in a while. So, as you guys know, the podcast is a little different from my press conferences and stuff because this is me shooting the shit, talking completely out of kayfabe, out of, script. And yeah, just sit down and shoot the shit. So, before I get into today's guests, I got a few things to talk about because a lot has happened, so we have a couple things to go over. So, as you guys know, Best in the World was 2 weeks ago. I was there at that show 2 weeks ago at Best in the World, like I just said, and was in the main event against Jake Carter, and it was a really great match. I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun working with Jake. The story we told, the finish we'd set up. It just felt really good out there to be back in the main event on the big stage. The crowd was hot, way hotter than I actually expected Toronto to be, so that was great. And yeah, there was a lot of stuff before the match that was said. Some of it kind of kayfabe, some of it not. Zach got involved in the beef, which, okay, whatever. Overall, it was a really fun media tour, really fun build-up. And I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was great. So, just to talk about a few things, a lot of people were asking me, what was it like backstage before and after the match? I don't even know how to answer that question. What was it like backstage before and after the match? It was basically Jake Carter. He was kind of nervous, I guess, because it was his first real main event since the last time he had a main event in Toronto, which was a couple years back at the Canadian Invasion off-season pay-per-view. And we all know how that went. So he was kind of didn't want to repeat, didn't want to disappoint the fans, his home fans. So, yeah, there was a lot of nervousness on his end. But it was great. It was good. A lot of people gave him some pep talks. I didn't give him pep talk because I'm not gay. But, yeah, it was just, there's really nothing else to say. I heard the ratings did good. Heard the ratings did really good for the Best in the World, and I'm happy about that. How much ratings got on? I don't know the exact number, but I know it was the highest SmackDown event in history. So, just tells you who's the top attraction, But whatever, right? Also, speaking of top attractions. Ryan Nathan has moved to a new upstart company and has really made waves since appearing there. He's becoming more of a national, intercontinental, global name than he was when he was in the WWE. And quite frankly, I'm proud of that. I think that's a great move for Ryan. I think his face is marketable. His brand is marketable. A lot of people know his name from his world title reign. A lot of people know who he is. He's a star, he's a draw wherever he goes. He's a draw. He's going to bring ratings and viewers. And he's also opening up his own promotion in Australia called the Outback Professional Wrestling. That was a terrible Australian accent. The Outback Professional Wrestling, which I'm also really excited for. Definitely will be tuning in. Definitely will be seeing where that goes. It's not like a set deal yet, but there's rumors and whispers and stuff like that, so we'll see how it goes. This past weekend, our good friend Zach Gustin was inaugurated as the governor of Ohio, and already he's involved in a scandal. Wow. Uh, he should have just stayed in wrestling, if you ask me, right? I mean, politics is not worth it. It's not worth getting into politics. Politics is evil, and it destroys people. It destroys lives. It's horrible. I would never want to get into that. Like I said on this podcast before, I would never want to get into that kind of nonsense. It takes a lot of patience to deal with people like that, right? So, I don't know. I don't see him lasting as a governor with all the scandals he's involved in and his shady past. I don't know how he got elected, to be honest with you. I mean, we saw what happened in the 2016 election, right? But yeah, it's really shocking that he got elected. Maybe just Ohio is a weird place. I hope he does good. I genuinely really do. Hope he can make Ohio great again. Stuff like that. But other than that, yeah. He should have just stayed in wrestling, right? Anyway, we getting a lot of comments on Twitter about my absence from SmackDown. Oh my God, why weren't you on SmackDown last week? What happened? Why weren't you on SmackDown? Why haven't you been on SmackDown? Because I don't have to be. Like, it's not, I just don't have to be. I have other obligations. I have the UFC fight coming up. There's a lot I have to get done. A lot of obligations that I have had scheduled since summer of last year that I need to get done. And I promise when it's all done, I'll be back on SmackDown. I'll be back on the blue brand doing what I do best. Because let's be honest, that brand needs me. Okay, I'm getting a little in character there. But, yeah, the wait is not long. Believe me, trust me. I wish I could be there too. The wait is not long, and it's going to be worth it. The wait will be worth it. Vixens is coming up. Vixens season premiere this Sunday. I'm so excited about this. You got Sasha Banks, the fallout of her confrontation with Miesha Tate at WrestleMania, at Vixen Mania, because that was a crazy ending. The NXT Women's Champion standing over the WWE Women's Champion, that is wild. Savannah's return, which everyone is buzzing about. And I want to remind you guys of something. Because not just even in the kayfabe, a lot of people are just in general asking if she still has it. I don't understand the concern. Yeah, she was gone for a while, but there have been longer hiatuses, and people have come back and been just fine. Like, I've spent most of the last 2 years on hiatus from the injuries and stuff like that. She's gonna do fine, guys. It's gonna work out. It's all gonna work out. There's really no cause for concern. There's really nothing to worry about when it comes to Savannah. I've talked to her. She's fine. She's ready for this. She's ready to get back in that ring and work in week in and week out. Yes, she is full-time, because a lot of people are thinking that, this is a part-time thing. She's here for a storyline with Sasha Banks and that's it. No. She's back on the roster full-time. Like, she's back. Savannah's coming back. Speaking of returns, Ashley's coming back too. She's not coming back for another month or so, but I wouldn't be surprised if she shows up earlier, just not in a wrestling role, but because they said her in-ring return is in February, so in-ring and regular return are usually different, so I wouldn't be surprised if she came back earlier. Kind of hope she does. I'm looking forward to it because now you have Ashley and Savannah back on the same roster, and it would be very interesting, especially with this modern roster where you have, Ronda on there now, and because remember, Ronda came in when Savannah was going out, right? I mean, they were both on the WrestleMania card, but was Ronda's really first match. So, it's gonna be interesting to see with this modern roster like Hikari and Kana and all these new faces that have arrived and that are gonna arrive and Vixen's Year Zero. It's going to be very interesting to see how these two, Ashley and Savannah, how they coexist. Well, Ashley already kind of has. It's more interesting on Savannah's part, how she interacts with these people. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to Vixens. I'm also looking forward to NXT, which is coming up too. I remember a couple years back when I was on NXT and I was the NXT champion. It wasn't quite the environment that it is now, because NXT has gone over and we'll talk about that later on in this podcast, but NXT has gone through a huge makeover, and I'm excited for it, and I'm excited for you guys to experience it just as I am. And if anyone's asking, yes, I'll be back on commentary for Vixens. I'll be back. Trust me. It's an extra paycheck, but it's also an opportunity to flex out my talents. So, yeah. Speaking of my commentary, Anthony did his little award thing, and he gave me the Commentator of the Year, and I am just ecstatic about that. I want to thank Anthony for that. Thank him for appreciating my contributions to the announce table. Makes it all worth it. Thank you, Anthony. Big shout out to the Ant-Man. Love him so much. Can't wait to see him back in that ring, doing what he does best. And back on the mic as well, doing what he does best. I was the number 9 in merchandise, which shocked me because usually the heels don't really... But, I mean, it's different now, right? It's not really like heels and faces. It's more like who you like and who you don't like. So, guess I have a lot more fans than let on, right? Not really, don't really care about the merchandise sales, to be honest with you, because I don't have a lot of merchandise to sell. I don't sell a lot of merchandise. I don't have a lot of stuff in that WWE shop, and I told them not to make me any merchandise intentionally because, yeah, it's just kind of silly. Unless I'm with Seth and we're doing the Project Architects, we'll make as much merchandise for that because that sells like hotcakes. That was one of the top sellers in 2017, and then when we did our little reunion in 2018, like that broke records. That was crazy how much that sold. So it is what it is, right? Whew. So I played this demo of Resident Evil 2, the new Resident Evil 2, since everyone's been talking about it and asking about it. And, oh, Aaron, did you play it? Yes, I played it, Resident Evil 2. It was great. I enjoyed it. I loved it. It's just the Resident Evil as we know it. Because Resident Evil 7, I liked it. But I feel like Resident Evil shouldn't fully be in first person. Like, I get what they were trying to do. But it's that third person atmosphere with it just gives more of a sense of tightness. I don't know how to explain it. But I enjoy the I enjoy the third person atmosphere more. Even if that seems like it would be the reverse, that the first person would seem more scary. But I don't know. It's probably just because, like, it's probably nostalgia, right? Let's be honest. But at the same time, come on. I definitely enjoy it. Definitely enjoy it. Okay. Now I want to segue into my guest for today. Mr. Allen. What's going on, Allen?
Nothing much. What's going on, guys?
Oh, what's going on, Daddy-O?
Nothing much.
So how are you doing today, huh? How's your day been?
Doing all right. I'm getting everything prepared for NXT. Hoping everything goes well. Same old.
Oh, right, NXT. I said we would talk about that, right? So, what do you feel will be different this time around for the huge NXT reboot, the huge repackage? Like, what can we expect different from the other variations and the other bookers?
All right. Well, I'm gonna go over a few things with this thing, and I want to start off by saying the reboot nothing but emotion, raw energy, raw drama, raw action. We're gonna have it all. I want to talk about the things that happened in the past that wasn't, so popular with the fan base and the people backstage. The booker that took my place when I wasn't around.
Oh yes, everyone knows.
When I was gone, my assistant booker decided that it would be all right to switch everything I booked around. Great feuds lined up for last time, and what we got instead was Roger Clint in the main event, which you had no business whatsoever being in the main event whatsoever. We had Samoa Joe running around after Vile, which I can tell you right now, Vile isn't going to be on NXT. His time has come and gone in this business. It's time for him to move on.
I agree with that. I agree.
But what I'm hoping this time, so I got really high hopes this time for NXT. A lot of changes, a lot of mistakes had to be changed because of last time, and I think this time around it will be a lot better.
I wish you the best in this new venture. So, what made you decide to step in yourself and do NXT rather than handing it off to somebody else again? One of the other books. What made you just say that this has to be my project?
Well, the thing here is, I have faith in younger talent, and I want to see it be used in the proper, correct fashion. I want these younger stars to really full potential, and I think the only person that can really do that is a guy that actually believes in the younger talent, a guy that actually wants the younger talent to actually be something in this business. And I thought, okay, maybe I should do this because I have experience with taking in younger talent under my wing and making them good. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Definitely agree with that.
Like those people in the New Dawn, I took them under my wing and look what I did to them.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of younger talent, NXT is crossing over with Vixens and vice versa, and with Miesha Tate and Sasha Banks. So I just wanted to ask you, what do you think about Sasha and her newfound gimmick, like her newfound story, where she's like, this match with Ashley has changed her, and she's completely different now. She's grown an ego since beating Ashley, and she's lost her humbleness that she had before her match with Ashley. What are your thoughts on that? What are your feelings on that?
What I feel about Sasha Banks at the moment is, she beat Ashley Snyder, one of the very, very greats in this business. And if I was in Sasha's shoes, I'd probably grow an ego too,
Anyone would.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I actually kind of like it because she's out there. She knows what she's doing. She backs it up, even if she is cocky. She knows what she's doing out there. And I think that Sasha Banks, when the time comes, I think it's going to blow the roof off the place. The whole feud, the whole match. I think because this, Sasha Banks is in, I think will go perfect with Tate's actions and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, basically the setup that was set up at the end of Vixen Mania. Miesha Tate is a more humble champion than Sasha is, and more disciplined.
Exactly. So I do like Sasha Banks as she is right now compared to before Ashley.
Championships, since we're on that topic. Recently at the Capital Combat, you and Antonio were crowned as the first ever Amigos champions, the first in WWE history. How does it feel to be just a part of that? Just being the inaugural champion of the newest belts.
Well, I think it's great. As you know, me and my brother, we don't tag, hardly at all in this current run that we've been on. This is the first time I've been able to team up with my brother since 10 or so years ago. This is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this isn't our first go around as tag team champions, of course. We had a run in FCW and Ring of Honor. But I think this one is a little more special to me than all of those. Team up with my brother again after so long just brought a smile to my face. Even though I'm supposed to be playing this heel role, you can clearly see me smiling big, getting handed that championship.
Oh, yeah, I think we all saw that. It was a feel-good moment. It was really nostalgic to see the Snyder brothers team up again, back together. I think a lot of people enjoyed that. And I think the tag team in itself is interesting because it's more like a love-hate kind of thing. And it's kind of like that. It feels like, brothers. It's like that brotherly competition thing. And a lot of people can relate to it. It's not exactly like your and Cena's thing or mine, Seth and myself's thing. It is more of like competition. And it's that tough love. I mean, even if it seems like hate sometimes, right? And I think that's a very interesting dynamic that you two brought to the table there. It's honestly my favorite current tag team, to be honest with you. Sorry to the New Day, but it is my favorite current tag team. And it was really just a feel-good moment to see you guys capture those titles, to see Antonio just wreck Chris Coleman and Brock. Oh, that was embarrassing, wasn't it? Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I mean, honestly, my performance could have been a lot better in that fight. I was totally off.
Well, it's okay because you got a couple fights coming up in the UFC, so you don't want to kill yourself before you can do that, right?
Exactly. But that was a very special moment for me, and I will always cherish that moment for the rest of my life.
The 95th championship reign, Alan. 95 championship reigns. That's crazy.
I'm hoping, but that before I retire, I reach 100.
Oh yeah, you got to reach that 100. That is that's kind of unheard of in the modern era. Like besides Jerry Lawler, I mean,
Exactly.
how many people have 95, let alone 100 world championship reigns? That is crazy. That's stuff of legends. It's a living legend. And the past is interesting. The history of your career is really interesting, which leads me to ask, what's your favorite Raw moment before, from the past? I'm talking about the era, the Attitude Era. Before you came back in 2012.
This one doesn't exactly involve me as much, but I will tell you what my favorite Raw moment is from the past. Favorite Raw moment pre 2012. That is a hard one. There are many to choose from. The moment when Stone Cold stunned all the McMahons in one go. I think that was 2005. He's done it so many times, I forgot which year that was. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
There is the beer truck with Stone Cold, Vince, and The Rock. That was a funny favorite moment.
That was
got
there was the Kurt Angle one was funny too. Kurt Angle with the milk. That was funny.
Whenever The Rock does all of his appreciation night concerts, I've always enjoyed those too as some of my favorite moments.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like when he did the one in I think it was in Sacramento. That was hilarious when he was a heel. That was hilarious.
Sit down in the ring and pick his guitar and just sing a song.
I still watch that moment over and over. Very enjoyable. Very enjoyable. While we're on the topic, go ahead. Go ahead.
You go this time.
Oh, I was gonna say because while we're on the topic of, you know, the past, I kind of want to segue us back into the present and ask you your thoughts on well, because there was a post made, there was an article made on the WWE website about Paul Starr's legacy, and it got a lot of people talking about what is his legacy, and a lot of people were talking obviously in the confines of kayfabe, but a lot of people were talking outside of kayfabe, and I just want to get your thoughts on the record of Paul Starr's legacy.
All right. Oh, I told myself I wouldn't get worked up, but I guess I am. Paul Starr, he really had to bring that name up. I get asked this, my reply gets worse and worse. Deep in me at this point in time. Why? Because he never fucking listens. He never listens. Because when I tell him one thing, he goes ahead and does the complete opposite. The first time he threw somebody off a rooftop, I told him next time don't do it. Don't do it again. What does he do? He fucking does it again. I just about lost my shit. I brought him into my room and I almost punched him dead in the face.
Oh my god.
Look.
Or what'd you say?
This ain't your
What'd you say before that?
I said I was gonna punch him dead in the face. Right. That's all I said.
Oh, okay.
I told him, look, this is completely different from, say, falling off a Tron or a Hell in a Cell. I mean, those are only like 20-foot drops, not fucking 90-foot drops.
Right.
It's like, so, okay, I give him one more warning. I told him if he does it again, I was going to fine his ass a significant amount of money. Does he fucking do? What does he do? You know what I'm talking about now, because this is the third fucking time.
Right.
He throws himself and Anthony off the fucking top of the roof. It's like, okay, I'm finding you $500,000. I told you I would get a fine.
Oh my god!
You didn't believe me, but
500,000. Oh my god! What?
I mean, it makes sense. You
weren't playing around.
No, I wasn't, because if you think about it, somebody else's life is at stake.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are concerned about that because it's like when we do like the cinematic things, those are filmed, and a lot of those are stunt doubles. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of those are, yeah, and those are pre-taped and all that, and we go on location and do stuff like that.
Yeah.
But going off the rafters, going off the buildings and the roofs and stuff like that. I can understand why people are cautious about that because, as I think everyone knows about Owen Hart and his situation and what happened with him, and if something happens to Starr or Anthony, or Cena, I mean, guess who's gonna get blamed? Everybody who allowed the segment to happen, right? Everyone who enabled it to happen. Everyone.
Yep.
Involved, especially if something happens to Paul Starr, right? Because the first thing that's gonna happen. It's gonna rain down. Yeah, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, why'd you let him do it, Alan? Why'd you let him do that?" So I can definitely understand why, and I could definitely see why there is disconnect and a problem with that, basically.
Though, as I was saying, Paul Starr got lucky because Anthony actually came to his defense about it.
Interesting.
It's like, okay, if Anthony's saying no, don't worry about it, then I'm not gonna worry about it because me and him, we're this tight unit backstage. We run the show. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And if he says it's okay, then I told him, all right, I won't do it.
That's interesting. Whoa, I can't talk all of a sudden. That's interesting because Anthony and Starr used to be on the out and outs. Um, back in 2016 and 2017. Everyone knows we had Starr on here before. Everyone knows the situation. So that's really interesting that Anthony would come to his defense and relax and try to smooth things out.
He definitely
Go ahead.
got lucky his third strike, but there will not be a fourth. I can tell you that.
It goes to show you that, back to the Anthony thing. Sorry, it goes to show you how much he's grown since he's been in this COO role or whatever you have him as now. I don't even know his official title. But yeah, I see where you're coming from, because I know if I was in charge, I definitely wouldn't allow that kind of stuff, because I'm not with I'm not with the shock value stuff, like all the hardcore stuff, Like I'm more of a classical kind of guy.
I mean, I'm more into the hardcore stuff too, but I don't go that extreme.
Right. That's just like, I don't know. That's like suicide, damn near.
I want to just finish this off with Paul Starr real quick before we move on.
Okay.
I hate his guts all around, and I'm not working with him now. Then going forward, as far as I'm concerned, the only way you guys will ever see a match again out of us two is if he admits his wrongdoings and apologizes. Plain and simple.
Damn. Okay. You got it on the record. Plain and simple.
You're never getting another match with me. Never.
Plain and simple. You heard it here, folks. On a lighter note, I was talking about the Resident Evil 2 thing earlier. So did you play it? What did you think about it?
I played the shit out of the demo. I'm not gonna lie.
Jesus, Alan.
You know me. I'm a Resident Evil geek. The only thing I didn't agree with on this demo is the 30-minute time limit. I think they just should have kept it, not one shot, but let the people play it as many times as they want. I mean, it only takes about 15 minutes to even get to the end of the demo. So I mean, why not give a person, unlimited time to play it, right?
Yeah, I don't know, Pops. Japanese demos are like different than the ones they release over here in the West, because I remember the Sonic Forces demo came out last year. Not last year, in 2017. And I was really excited to play it. And then oh my god, it has a 1 minute limit on the first stage of the fucking game.
Oh, that was dumb.
Nani? Like, what? So, not only do I have to go through the trouble of making a Japanese account on my PlayStation, then I have to deal with the fact that it's only 1 minute of gameplay for each stage that was demoable in the game. Okay. Mm-hmm. It was a really odd design choice. I don't know why the Japanese games do that. Considering you can beat the demo really quickly, by the way. So you can beat it in I think 5 minutes or so, if you really know what you're doing. So
yeah, I did it in 3 hours.
Oh, well, you did it in the fast. But outside of Resident Evil, what are your favorite games in general?
My favorite video games. There is tons that I can name off, but I will name now because you guys already know one of them. Spyro the Dragon.
Ooh.
Final Fantasy. So I'm a big racing car fan. And all of these games hold a special place in my heart.
Well, mine. Sonic, Persona, Sonic, and Uncharted, The Last of Us.
Yep.
Yeah, there's really a lot for me to name, but those are the main ones Especially looking forward to The Last of Us Part 2. Definitely looking forward to that. Kind of hope we get it
Oh,
this year because I really don't want to wait until 2020 to get it. I
me
really want
neither.
it. I really want it this year. I want it soon. I want it in June. I want it in November. Whenever, I'll take it. Right? Jesus,
As long as
just
it's in 2019.
yeah, just give it to me, man. Oh, I don't want to wait until 2020. Oh my God, might
We
have to
can't. We can't.
might have to wait until then anyway. But still,
Fuck.
all right. Because I don't even
We can't.
I don't even think they finished filming the story. So
Oh, come on. They announced this 2 years ago and they're not done with that yet.
I mean, yeah, I still see Instagram posts of the actress filming. Because I'm friends with Ashley Johnson who plays Ellie, and yeah, she told me that they're still filming that story. So it is what it
I mean,
is.
as long as it's epic, give it to me in November and I'll be happy.
Yeah, definitely, I agree with that. And you need to play Joel in the live action when they do that.
A lot of people have been telling me that.
Yeah, you need to cop that role. You need to do whatever you got to do. Talk to Sony, whoever you got to talk to, and get that role. 'Cause that was
Oh, I
made
definitely
for you.
will.
That was made for you, buddy. Made for you, Poppy. Made for you.
Yeah.
I
You know
heard
what
that.
game?
Oh, what? Go ahead.
You know what game that I'm also looking forward to coming out is Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh yeah, that's so soon. Can you
So soon.
believe? Can you believe Kingdom Hearts 2 came out like 10 something years ago?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, like wow, we had to wait that long. I mean, that's almost as long as a wait as Final Fantasy 14 or what? 15, 15, right? 15.
Yes.
Yeah, Final
Because
Fantasy
there's a
15.
whole different story to that. I'll get to it on another podcast.
I hope it's just not as like. I hope it's not underwhelming. I mean, I think either way it's gonna be underwhelming because when you wait for something to come out that long, you expect the world of it, and a game just cannot deliver that. So
Exactly.
I'm not setting my expectations too high. I'm just looking for a conclusion to the story. And I do hope this concludes the story because I feel like we don't really need 1,000 Kingdom Hearts sequels. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we have enough Kingdom Hearts games. We've this story has gone on long enough, right? And they've expanded it as much as they could. And I just feel like any more games would be a repeat. I'm not saying they can't do spin-offs, but as far as the main series and the main storyline, Sora's storyline goes,
Sora needs to be put to rest and let his storyline be done.
Exactly. Now I heard that you had some questions for me to reverse the rules.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Ask away.
All right. I want to talk to you about Tyrone Woodley and John Bones Jones. What do you think about those two, and do you see them as worthy opponents for your World Heavyweight Championship?
Well, I'm excited for those matchups. I'm fairly certain they're gonna happen. Fairly certain, like 99.7% sure. Well, for Woodley anyway, 99.7% sure. I'm pretty sure Woodley is the next big challenge. That's gonna be interesting. John Jones is gonna be even more interesting if I'm even the world champion that long, which I hope I am. But yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great to work with those two, the two UFC guys coming in. They've done a really good job building up those characters on SmackDown, making them seem like a threat. John Jones just manhandled the Big Show. Tyron Woodley beat up two people by himself, basically. I mean, it's going to be interesting with Aaron, going up against someone like Tyron Woodley and John Jones, people that are legitimate and have torn through the divisions and since the season of SmackDown started, the year 0. So I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great story to be told for both of those. Great story. What else you got for me?
All right. Now, ever since you moved the SmackDown to become World Heavyweight Championship, how do you think the product has been? since you've moved to SmackDown compared to, like, say, any other season we've had before?
I think we're in store for the most legitimate season of SmackDown. Because before this, SmackDown, it had big stars, but the big stars were always like the older stars. And that was kind of the thing for the while, where SmackDown was where the older veterans were, and they were the stars there, except for the world champion. And Raw before Asylum was like where the younger stars and blah 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 blah, and everyone else and all the top younger generations were. So I feel like this is gonna be the most legitimate and grounded season of SmackDown. It's gonna be a lot more wrestling, as well as layers of storytelling. And I feel like the product overall for SmackDown is going to be something to tune into, whether you like SmackDown or not, whether you're a fan of SmackDown or not, whether you're for Team SmackDown or Team Asylum, whichever one you choose to watch. And I hope the viewers come in. I hope people that tuned out of SmackDown last season will be able to come back and see that it's kind of different now. It's completely different now. It is a different environment now. There's a lot of new faces, a lot of returner faces, but a lot of new faces that are coming through to wreck through the division. I just feel like this is SmackDown. This is gonna be SmackDown's best season, if all the cards fall in their right places. What else you got?
Let me ask you a follow-up question to that. I want to talk about maybe the first, month of the season so far. What do you feel? The last couple of like 3 or 4 SmackDowns, we've only had like 6 or 7 segment shows. So what do you feel about the booker that was doing all of that and then not have as much content as Asylum?
I kind of look at that and I'm kind of demoralized when I see that, because when I see like everyone talking about Asylum, and like with Asylum there's so much to talk about, right? You can never really cover it all, and there's so much going on in Asylum. It's just one big cohesive storyline of like all these characters and this cast and this whole Hayden gang storyline and everything that's going down. And then you go to SmackDown and it's like, what really can you talk about? Me, John Jones, Tyron Woodley.
Exactly.
That's about it.
I feel like SmackDown storyline like that, but maybe something that isn't the Hayden game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, SmackDown should be the alternative. SmackDown should be the alternative. It needs more meat to it.
Yes, exactly.
It definitely. I did talk to the writers of SmackDown about this before. I sat down with them, and I feel like SmackDown needs a more of a foundation. It needs way more segments, because there's so many people on the SmackDown roster that are not used. Like there's like 30 something guys on that roster, and you only see about 7 of them each week, and it's like, really? Okay, 7 out of 30. That's a huge gap. That's more than a third of the roster you're not using.
Wait, you want to know the hard truth here?
What?
Some of those 30 superstars, as much as they're not being booked at all, some of them have begged to come on NXT.
I heard. I know. Harper and Rowan are going to NXT, even though they're supposed to be, even though they're signed to SmackDown. But I heard they're making a little trip down to NXT.
Yes, and I heard that and Rusev wanted to make an appearance next week, and I told him, look, all right, I'm just gonna do this one time, and then if you're not booked anymore on SmackDown, then come on down for a normal stay. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I can see the frustration, because a lot of them have talked to me and voiced their frustration, And that's why I went and sat down with the writers of SmackDown and had a little chit chat with them. And I did air all the concerns and grievances of the other people on the roster, which they said they understood and they'll work on improving.
Mhm.
So at least they're going to try to improve. What else you got for me?
All right. What has been your favorite backstage moment before the cameras are rolling this season so far?
So you mean just out of kayfabe, whatever is going on when I show up at the arena? I think my favorite moment so far, uh, this is kind of a funny one, kind of I don't know, kind of a feel good one. Uh, when the at the day zero when I first showed up at the arena, and I was kind of like one of the first people there. Oh my god! And there were these mystery boxes set up all over the arena, and everyone was going around opening them, and we formed a little group, and we followed the clues. It was like an alternate reality kind of game. I don't even know how to explain it. And we try to figure out who was setting up all these boxes and the clues. And eventually the clues led us to the freaking to the boiler room where the big show was naked. I'm thinking to myself, what the hell is going on? What the hell is going on? So it turns out, of course, who but Hayden set that up? Who but Hayden?
Of course.
Who but Hayden set that up? At first I thought it was you and John, then I was like, no. The Big Show naked. The Big Show naked,
Yeah.
dancing to Despacito. Definitely not Alan and Cena. That has to be Hayden. And eventually he fessed up and he said that was his welcoming of the season. It's symbolic, is what he said. He said, it's symbolism. I'm like, where the hell do you see the symbolism in that, Hayden? Symbolism! Okay. I'm sure he was a little buzzed when he, I'm certain he was buzzed when he when he was backstage before those cameras started rolling for day zero. And I think even during the match, he was a little disoriented, even though he still did a good job in his match against Ziggler. But even during the match, he was disoriented. Never change, Hayden. There's a lot of backstage moments with Hayden that are just so fucking, that are so hilarious. Like, I remember when he had this. Oh my god, he wanted to film an episode of The Office with just everyone he interacted with. So he would come up to somebody and have a conversation, and I think Zach was backstage at this time. Zach was backstage to support Jay Carter. It was on one of the first, I think it was the first episode of SmackDown of the season, because that's when Zach was booking NXT, and he was backstage to support Jay Carter, and Hayden was backstage as well. And Zach said something really stupid. I can't remember what Zach said. I think Zach said something like, Hayden's not over as a heel. And then Hayden, because he has because Hayden has Vito, Big Vito, following him around with a freaking camera. So Hayden looks into the camera, like you do in The Office. He looks into the camera and stares at it. He just stares at it blankly for 5 whole minutes. And it was just the most surreal thing to see. Just Big Vito holding a camera, pointing at Hayden as Hayden just stares blankly into it in complete shock that Zach said something stupid, as if that's a shocking thing, right?
We all know countless stupid questions that he's asked.
Oh, yeah. But I just feel like every moment with Hayden is funny. There's a lot of funny Hayden stories I can recite. But that would be its own podcast, to be honest with you. What's your next question?
is your favorite all-around match? It can be a match that you're in, or a match that you're not in, or whoever else is in. Do you have a favorite?
Whew. It changes like every day because I go back and rewatch the matches and I'm just like, oh, that was so good. Oh no, this one was better. Oh no, this one was better. Oh, this one was better. Oh man, I have to say, oh, it's such a hard choice because I'll say one today and then I'll feel differently about it tomorrow. I feel like another one is the best. So I guess my answer would be I'm not too sure. There's a lot of great matches that go on. A lot of matches that can be considered the best. But I'll say that some of my favorites are Okada versus Hayden, which was amazing. Both of your matches with Okada, which I loved. Our triple threat match at WrestleMania, which was great. Rollins versus Anthony at the last WrestleMania. Oh my God. Everything about even the build up was amazing. Ashley versus Sasha. Oh wow, it's my favorite. That's my favorite main event of WrestleMania. Yeah, it's just so much to choose from. So much to choose from. Antonio and Connor. Oh man, Paul Starr and Anthony. Oh, it's just so much to choose from. Not their last one, the one at Revolution, but oh my God, yeah. I did. I'm sorry I couldn't give you a better answer, but you know it's all.
Right.
There's just so much to pick. Basically, is what I'm trying to say.
Let me ask you a question that wasn't on the list. It's like one of my questions. All right. So, what do you think women will main event WrestleMania again this season?
What do I think about who will main event or the woman will main event WrestleMania?
What do you think the odds are of the women main event WrestleMania again this season?
I think the odds are pretty high. I mean, they've done it before. They can do it again. I would like to see them do it. I'd be okay with anyone who main events, but I would definitely like to see them do it again. Whoever it may be, whoever's the big star by the end of the season, whether it's Ashley and Sasha rematch or Savannah and Sasha or a big old triple threat. It could be. They could go tons of ways. I think the next big step though would be like an intergender main event. That would be cool. An intergender.
That would actually be.
That would be pretty awesome. I mean, I'm looking forward to whatever the main event is. I mean, I'm subscribed to the multiple main events thing. I mean, obviously the show closer is more important than the rest of them, but the triple main event. I'm subscribed to that idea. There's 3 main events at WrestleMania. There's 3 big main events at WrestleMania, and then the rest are just on the main card, whatever order. But yeah, I would say the odds are pretty high, in my opinion, and I'm glad of that.
It's the women's revolution. It's time for the women to step up, right?
Exactly. It's no time like the present.
Because I always say this on the podcast, but screw Vince for not appreciating the women.
I agree with that. It's been such a ever since 2016 when Vixens formed, when Ashley got that off the ground. Oh man, that was like the blessing for the women's wrestling. Like, yeah, they were prominent on Raw, but Vixens really like got them out there, you know. Like it really launched them into the mainstream now, and Ashley became a big name, and Sasha became a big name, and Savannah became a big name, and it's just the best era to be, the best era of wrestling, you know.
It's like that. I agree.
What else you got for me?
All right. If you had the chance to go back to wrestle one person on the current NXT roster, who would it be?
Tough question. Probably Adam Cole.
Oh, that's a good choice.
I feel like his charisma can match mine, and we could do a really good program together. Just great promos, great storytelling in the ring, back it all up. We could really put on a great storyline, a great program for the fans. And I'm a real big fan of Adam Cole, so that's another reason why it's interesting. And I would like to do it. Yeah, if I could, if I could pick one person, it would be Adam Cole. What's next?
Yeah. And the final question I have for you: had to travel to one place you haven't been to yet to wrestle, what place would that be?
Hmm. Oh, I would say Lucha Underground, man. It's gotta be Lucha Underground. I just enjoy it. I'm such a big fan. I'm such a mark for Lucha Underground. I love it so much. I loved it since since the first episode. I've been completely hooked to it. The talent pool down there is great. The characters are so great. It's kind of like what they're doing with Asylum. You know, they have all these supernatural elements in there and battle for the fate of the world and all that. And it was so awesome. I saw the first episode of the new season. I saw Ashley was there. I saw you were on there for like 5 seconds. I was like, whoa, that's cool. I want to be on there. I want to be on there now. So, if I could wrestle there, that would be really cool. Even if it's just for a match, any kind of match, tag match, a 5-second match. It's definitely on.
Just anything.
What'd you say?
Anything.
What'd you say?
Just anything, right?
Yeah, just anything. Sorry. It would be. It's definitely on my bucket list to wrestle for Lucha Underground. Definitely on my bucket list. I think that's really all I mean, there's obviously other companies, but I think Lucha Underground the most, you know?
Oh, I got one more personal question to ask you.
Okay.
This is the one that we all like. We all love movies. And what are your favorite movies to watch when they come out in 2019?
Oh, man. I know Glass is coming out. Well, Glass is out now, and I definitely have to see that. That's one of my most anticipated movies ever. I've been waiting forever for that movie. There's Shazam coming out. Oh man, that's gonna be good. It looks like a fun movie. It just looks like really fun. I've always been a big fan of Shazam and Billy Batson and that side of the DC universe. The Joker movie is coming out this year. At first, I was skeptical about it. I was like, "Oh my god, they're doing a Joker movie," and it was announced. This Joker movie was like put into production. So, like a lot of DC movies get announced and then nothing happens. This one was put into production so fast and it was already filming and like I was like, whoa, and it's coming out and I'm really looking forward to it. To be honest with you, I'm just like from what I've seen and heard of it, it seems like the kind of movie where it just seems like a different kind of take on the Joker, not like we've seen before, which is interesting because there's so many ways you can do the Joker. So many different ways you can do them and do it with class and respect. And respect to the character, my bad. There's Godzilla coming out. The Godzilla King of Monsters. Which
That actually looks good.
Oh yeah, it looks great. Looks great. I love the first Godzilla movie. That arrived in 2014, even though a lot of people gave it crap, but I don't know, I loved it. You know what that leads into? Godzilla versus King Kong, I think, which is next year or the year after. That's going to be epic. That's going to be awesome. Obviously, Godzilla would wash King Kong without a second thought. King Kong really ain't shit. King Kong ain't got nothing on Godzilla. But
Exactly.
But Toy Story 4 is coming out this year. So
I heard there was a Sonic the Hedgehog movie coming out this year too.
There's a Sonic movie. Oh my god, I almost forgot about it. Oh my god, yes, definitely. I've been waiting my entire life for that Sonic movie. It's awesome. I talked to Elis about it. Because he's he has a role in it, and he said he couldn't give me any details, even though I was trying to trick him into giving me details. He's really good at that NDA shit. Yeah, he was kind of just avoiding all kinds of. I was like, oh fuck, but I guess I'll just have to see it like everyone else, and I can't wait for it. It's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be thrilling. I hope it's great. I mean, I'm gonna enjoy it either way because it's just fucking Sonic. But
But here's another game adaptation to the movie. What do you think about Detective Pikachu?
oh, Detective, yeah, that looks like fun too. With Ryan, what's his name? That one guy as Pikachu. Yeah. That that looks like fun. Looks like a lot of fun.
I would honestly go and see it.
I would go and see it too. I would definitely go and see it. I'd see more Pokemon movies. I don't know why there's not more Pokemon like movies like that in theaters.
Yeah, there needs to be more of that. No, I get it. It's it's mostly an animated world and all of that, but sometimes I want to see it in real time, real life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It can work. It can work.
It's like I think they're gonna make this one work.
Those are the ones off the top of my head, though, for the movies I'm looking forward to.
What about? Is there any horror movies that you were looking forward to seeing this year? Is there any at all?
Glass is a horror movie. I've never been up to date. I think isn't it Chapter 2 coming out this year?
I believe so. Yes.
I haven't even seen Chapter 1, so I don't really.
Trust me, you should.
What else is what other horror movies are? I'm not up to date on all the release date stuff.
Honestly, I'm not either.
Yeah, I haven't really been following the horror movie.
You're such a horror movie buff. I haven't kept up with it a little bit.
Well, because Halloween came out, so you got your feel for the next 50 years when that one dropped.
Exactly. H1 up.
What'd you say?
H90, another 50 years.
Yeah. Before the next Halloween movie, sure. That's probably before the next Nightmare on Elm Street movie. I think Happy Death Day 2 is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, Happy Death Day 2. I didn't really like the first one, so I don't know.
I thought it was different. I enjoyed it.
There's a sequel to 47 Meters Down, which was like the shark movie, I guess. Apparently there's a sequel to World War Z, which I didn't even hear about, but apparently that's something that people are talking about for 2019. Okay. So, yeah, who knows? Whatever they are, I'll see which ones are the people declare the best, right? And I'll accordingly go see them. Sure.
That's all the questions I got.
Okay, I think that wraps it all up. Puts it in a nice little bun for us to cap off this brief but informative podcast here, right? Right. Brief but fun podcast here. Look forward to all the stuff coming up. NXT, Vixens, the Asylum, the build up to the War Games, and the next month of WWE. The next February is gonna be a intense month because of World War III coming up. So the pay-per-view, not the actual war, you fucking weirdos. Thank you guys for joining us. Adios, amigos. Adios.
Have a nice night.